So recently, Daily Stormer, the quote-unquote infamous neo-Nazi site, has experienced trouble. Like they were banned in Russia, and Google dropped their domain hosting and so forth. So people are censoring this hate speech, and I don't know. Like the whole thing pisses me off. It's not because I like Daily Stormer or because I hate Daily Stormer. It's more complicated than that. Or ultimately it's simple, but it's complicated to explain, I suppose. So yeah, and also like supposedly like Gab.ai, like this sort of free speech alternative to Twitter, at least allegedly. They have allowed so far Daily Stormer on their services, but I think they've been pressured or something to drop Daily Stormer and stuff. I'm not sure somewhere I read that they are gonna they basically have a choice. Either they censor Daily Stormer or their service or website or whatever is going down, and I'm not sure if it's just rumors or threats or whatever, or if it's what actually the authorities have told them or whatnot. But yeah, okay, this picture is weird. Like, why is there a Mundane Matt logo behind Andrew Anglin of the Daily Stormer? Like, how is he related to any of this? Like, I don't think the article mentions him, like Mundane Matt. No, so because as far as I know, Mundane Matt is not alt-right. He's not a neo-Nazi or anything like that. So I don't know what this picture is supposed to mean. But yeah. Anyway, so I'll try to explain why this pisses me off, and it's basically because it's advertisement for Daily Stormer, and I don't mind my beef for Daily Stormer isn't the same that most people I remember Sargon of Akkad long time ago saying that some feminist leftists or whoever, they wrote some article about Daily Stormer, and they were I think he was complaining that they are advertising these evil neo-Nazis, but it's not the neo-Naziness so much that bothers me. It's more like that I just don't think they're genuine. Like most of these alt-right figures like Richard Spencer and all these, I think they're they're feds or something, controlled opposition. Like they say some things that a lot of people agree with, but then they take them to cartoonish levels and dump down the message. So basically if you agree with them, you're likely to go all the way to their ridiculous conclusions, or then you reject them as evil hate groups, decent person in the current year should, and all of these fucking left, right, center paradigms just fucking pissing me off. And this stuff, people say this, kids, you're both just awful, just awful. And there's this Nazi and Antifa and some collectivists, so they're all equal. And no, I think first of all, I don't think we've had much Nazi violence, not really in these let's say last 10 years in the anywhere in the world. And I think, or if there has been, it's mostly being in self-defense against these commies. And if you look at the statistics and stuff, early in the in the 20th century, which has caused more like deaths and stuff. Like it's communism far outweighs fascism, and of course communism lasted longer and so forth. But like, yeah, I just think communism is way worse in pretty much all ways, in all manners than fascism or National Socialism. And of course, like if you wanna play the guilt game, or like who's worse, then look at like modern, like post World War II globalist democracy, and like, is it better? Like all of these fucking wars they've had, like Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, whatnot, and now the refugee crisis. It's all thanks to modern secular capitalist globalist democracies. Is that better? Like they don't have like gulags or concentration camps in the same way. Like it's not as obvious, but like in the long term it might be even worse than communism. I'm saying might, I'm not saying it necessarily is, but like, just, I don't know, like, but I think this picture says it all. Like, it's from some cartoon, like Family Guy probably. It's a very cartoonish image, and all of this is fucking cartoonish, like this whole fucking thing. And like this article, like, talking about Daily Stormer. It takes its name from the newspaper published by the Nazis from 1923 until World War II, and is one of the most openly racist sites on the internet. It regularly attacks Jews and celebrates the Holocaust. Like, I guess they at least like make Holocaust jokes, but if they celebrate the Holocaust, it's just sort of like, I'm more like, because it's illegal to question the Holocaust in many countries, so of course I don't want to like offend anybody, but I don't know if it's illegal to question the fact that you cannot question the Holocaust in many countries. So maybe that's like, maybe they should be questioning why this historical event is different. Anyway, but yeah, that's the point, at least. Like, I don't think that Andrew Anglin and Daily Stormer, they're there to, spread the facts and to, bring whatever values they promote to the society. I think that they serve a purpose to like mislead people. Like, they think that they are fighting for like, good right-wing fight or whatever, but, well, no, they're fucking, cartoon characters, basically. Like, this whole fucking thing. And of course, like, this whole situation, like, the Daily Stormer is getting censored left and right, and then you have to pick a side, like, oh, I'm for free speech, but I hate Nazis, so what should I do? And it's a fucking stupid argument, because, well, I hate censorship, but it's not that I hate Nazis, I hate these fake Nazis. Like, if they were actual, like, because when you look at National Socialist Germany, it wasn't so, like, I think the people had it pretty well, like, compared to the Weimar Republic, the National Socialist Germany seemed better, like, morally and economically, because it was screwed by the Allies and their politicians, many of whom were allegedly Jewish. So it's not so bad, but it's still not, I'm not saying like, yeah, we should, emulate something that people did like 80 years ago or whatever. That's another thing, like, yeah, why I'm not so keen on this, modern day. There are some National Socialists, and yeah, I don't like to call them Nazis, because, well, Nazi is sort of like a cartoon name nowadays. And yeah, it's a political ideology that failed. That's basically, like, we should look at it, we should learn from history, And I certainly don't believe these narratives that, these mainstream narratives we've all heard all our lives, that Nazis were the most evil thing ever and Hitler was the most evil man ever. And I think it's absolute bullshit. That's not true. But that still doesn't mean I believe the opposite, that Hitler was the best man ever or the savior of the white race or anything like that. And of course, there's all sorts of alternative conspiracy theories and stuff saying that Hitler was a British agent or a Freemason or whatever. And the fact is, I don't know what Hitler's motivations are, and I'm pretty sure you don't either. It's just like I see everybody project their own preconceptions or what they want Hitler to be like, And also, I've seen many Christians point out Hitler was an atheist who believed in Darwinism and this is why atheism and Darwinism is bad. And I'm not saying that I think atheism and Darwinism are good, but I just don't agree with their argument. I don't think Hitler was possibly he was influenced by Darwinism to a certain extent, but I think it's also simplifying the argument too much. So yeah, I just think Hitler and, National Socialist, they were, historical concepts and figures, and, they did some bad things, some good things, some more gray area things, and you should look at it and, learn from it. But it's not like the ultimate evil, nor the ultimate good. I want to get rid of this, cartoon Nazi crap. So yeah, but yeah, I do think that this is sort of a ploy by the political globalist establishment to create these fake boogeymen for the lefties and these fake Robin Hood kind of heroes for the right wing. And yeah, it's just because come on, these guys are not genuine. They don't, because people nowadays, they're so, I don't know, lazy or dumbed down, or they don't have time to think, so they want these, simple symbols and ideologies that they follow, so they don't have to actually discuss the issues and what is it you believe in, what do you want to happen, what do you want to prevent from happening, and so forth. I want to prevent the wars in Middle East. I want to prevent mass immigration from the Middle East to Europe. I want to prevent feminism from fucking up the minds of men and women, and the legal systems and so forth. And I want to promote your healthy family values and so forth, and but nowadays I don't know, they discuss all this abstract crap and doesn't really IQs and RK selection and stuff. And I'm not saying you shouldn't talk about it at all, but ultimately I think they focus too much on these abstract issues that become these intellectual video games that people can argue over the internet, but it won't solve anything just talking about this RQ selection is this, or because Kraut T made these videos about the RK selection, and I think his video was decent, because most of these alt-right people that I've heard talking about this RK selection stuff is, well, they don't really explain where it comes from, and I saw some guy who apparently was censored in Kraut T's comments, Ayadin Paladin, point out that this RK selection was apparently used in has been used even back in the 80s by some scientists to sort of apply it to human psychology. And well, if you don't know what RK selection is some species like human beings and mammals, they give birth to live offspring, and then they take care of them for a long time. They feed them, protect them, whereas others, like some plants and fish, they give birth to a lot of offspring, and most of them die. But by random chance, some of them manage to survive. And I always forget which one is R and which is K, and I don't really fucking care. And anyway, many alt-writers say that the lefties and some Africans and so forth, like I guess this plant and animal like a fish kind of selection stuff, and right wingers are more like of this humankind. And of course, like on a certain level, it's applicable, I guess, but ultimately they don't really explain the backgrounds and whatnot. But anyway, that's another issue. But I think it's just another example of this alt-right. It's just talking points, basically. Like on TV, they have retarded lefty talking points, but in the alt-right, they have these retarded right-wing talking points. And yeah, like another issue, I guess I should mention, like this, Sargon of Akkad. He's being sued for he shared the video by Aquila Hughes, and he's sued for copyright infringement. And it says, apparently Sargon used Aquila's video whole cloth and used minimal editing. Her lawyers are arguing that Sargon's use of her video didn't constitute a transformative application, and I haven't seen this video. I don't know how applicable these claims are or not, but I think this is just it's basically more advertisement. And I'm not saying that Sargon is a Fed or involved with the Tavistock Institute or anything like that. Probably not, but it's more like the establishment creating another now Sargon is being the hero / victim, and he's just basically bread and circuses for the masses. And you can talk about red pills and Kekistan and complain about feminism, but not really do anything about it. But yeah, I don't know, this whole thing. I guess since I don't know all the details, I'm an idiot for even talking about it. But it just sounds like if Sargon really didn't really make the video into a transformative medium, then maybe he should just delete it. And well, if he didn't, it's just bullshit, attention whoring. And yeah, like I saw on Minds last week, I think somebody at least said they donated $500 to Sargon of Akkad for his legal fees. Like, fuck, you have $500 to give to this e-celeb, and I'm sure Sargon has made a lot of money already on his Patreon and stuff over the years. So he I don't know, it just seems so fucking stupid. And this whole fucking thing, I don't know, and sure, well, it's stupid that if he's being sued, it should simply be if he did upload this video basically infringing Aquila Hughes' copyright, whoever she is, then he should delete the video. But if not, then the Aquila Hughes should shut the fuck up. So I don't get why, except why is this a big deal, except that of course it's more drama, and it's more e-celeb gossip, and it's more people fighting over non-important issues. And just fucking bullshit. All of these heroes we get on it's not just on TV. People really have to get wise to it, that it's not just about oh, the lefty establishment wants to be a lefty feminist. No, that's not it. There's also the other side that they're trying to push you into a certain direction to either make you look stupid or be ineffective, or like focusing on non-important issues and so forth. Like this fucking whole alt-right is, due to the core.